Hello, Pirates. I've seen a lot of people already posting their builds for Manticores on the Forsaken Council page, asking for advice. So I thought I'd do this video, not because I know the final build how it has to be, nobody does, just because people will build them at least partially so you can get them ready for next raid, even before we see the final targets, which I hope we'll see at the next weekend during VXP weekend. But even if we don't, there are a few things we can do and kind of be on the right path and a few mistakes you should avoid. So take this video with a grain of salt. It's early version of what I intend to build. It's still subject to a lot of change. So there's risk, and whatever you build, you might need to refit later. Okay, but here we go. So first of all, just build them naked. Put a thud cannon 1. If you have an officer, if you have R&D level 30, it's going to take you 3 days, 19 hours, 27 minutes. If you don't, it's going to take you about 4 days and a half. This allows you to have 4 of them, and it's important to build 4 and wait for the flagship, which is certainly coming up next raid. So we can have all 4 ranked after VXP weekend, at least to 50–60%. So put 1 phalanx 4, put 1 thud 1, something to build it quickly. And notice it's very resource intensive. Just the naked ship is 200 million of each resource. So even if you get the tokens during raid, you will need to load up on resources from killing raid targets and dock often to fill up your resources, or scrap old ships to get resources. Remember, in this raid there are 10 days of assault class build tokens. Use them towards this. Just with those 10 days plus normal week time until VXP weekend, you should get 4 ships out. Or you can also use the generic build tokens. If you add up the 1-day build tokens, the 12-hour build tokens, and the 1-hour build tokens, you also get a total of 5 days and 10 hours. You can also apply towards your Manticores. So that's it. Build them like this first. 4 of them just like that, nothing else on them. And then make a decision. This raid, Kixeye will not release 2 different hulls, one for auto, one for skilled drivers to be careful about and whatnot. It's only the Manticore. Now, it's only the Manticore with 2 different CICs, 2 different weapons, and 2 different specials. We have seen the left side, the Scattergun, plus the Savage CIC, plus the Roaring Barrel system. This will be for people who want to autopilot the targets, just like we're doing now with Buccaneers, or like we were doing before with Hunters. The right side will be another CIC buffing missiles, a new missile special. We have not seen them, we don't know how good they are, we don't know the numbers. We know they will be made available in a TLC, and we are speculating that TLC will be of siege type. So if you're doing well this raid, you should do well on that TLC. If you're not doing well this raid and you're relying on help, certainly take the left side, because the TLC you gotta do on your own. Unless they make it co-op, which I highly doubt it. I've also heard rumors that if you don't have the Manticore blueprint itself, you won't be able to engage the TLC. So at the very, very least, you gotta take the Manticore this raid. Because the TLC apparently will only give the components and perhaps tokens, we don't know. And I don't know, perhaps the flagship, we don't know. Anyways, I will build the left side. And if you're going to build the left side, stay with me. So going the Savage way, this is what I know I'm going to need. And I'm going to need you to trust me out here. We're going to need to use 6 Panthera Scatterguns. And I'm leaving 2 slots empty for now to understand how many and what type of countermeasures we'll need, because we know assault targets involve corrosive and penetrative damage and usually involve missiles and scatterguns. So we don't know how many missiles. If it's like last year, may only need 2 phalanxes on the whole fleet. If it's like 2 years ago with the Apollos, we needed like 10 phalanx 4s in the ship or a whole bunch of switchblades. Remember that? Against the mega hulls? So we'll see. Agility System 4, again, being that we'll be facing missiles and they are often accuracy based, we'll need deflection. And I'm betting there's going to be something there like an ice field or something to slow you down, So having the slow and stun resistance makes sense. And Agility System 4 is available this rate as well if you don't have enough. So make sure you get them. So, and Speed System 6 is the best engine we have. Now, there is a chance KIXEYE will release something like a corrosive resistor or a penetrative resistor, just like they did this raid with radioactive and ballistic resistors. In that case, we'll have to refit the engine, but I'm taking a chance. I'm going with Speed System 6 and taking a chance. That should not be a bad refit in the future, like about a day. Okay, so that's my basic build. If you don't want to take any risks and if you hate refitting your ships, build them like this, sit and wait. Okay, so that is total for me 8-day, 23-hour long build with officer, with R&D level 30. Gonna be longer if you don't have any of these two sources of bonuses. Now it gets tricky. Armors. KIXEYE already said that the Draconians invented charged armor, so they also now invented a technology that pretty much neutralizes the armor pool in the charged armor. KIXEYE said that technology will be present in the high-level targets, so if you're going against the low-level targets with Skyfires or Phoenixes, charged armor should still work. If you're going against the high-level targets, the pool will be instantly depleted. Then the question is like, okay, do I need charged armor? And the answer is, it's up to you. I've put a comparison here. The regular D5 armors are a lot heavier, 489 tons per piece of armor versus 125 on charged armors. I checked, and with the ship the way it is, you can actually go both. You will not face weight challenges if you go with regular D5 armors. In total, if you compare 4 charged armor panels versus 4 D5 armors, you save 2 days and 13 hours by using regular D5 armors when you're building the ships. That's per ship. Okay, per ship. So times 5, it's going to be 10 days faster to build, but you pay the cost in repairs. Okay, even though your ship will have 9,000 more armor when you go all D5, your repair goes from 3 hours per ship to 4 hours and 37 minutes per ship. And in the end, there's also the fact that charged armors are limited blueprints, so you gotta see if you have enough of them to fit all 5 Manticores in a fleet, including the flagship. Or if you're gonna maybe mix and match them with some charged armor so you don't pay as much in repair, versus some of the unlimited D5 armors, you can use as many as you want. So decisions to make. I'm inclined to go towards charged armor because they provide the same bonuses. I have enough in my inventory. If I don't, I might scrap some Phoenixes from last year to get what I need. Moving forward, resistance. There are many ways you can get to the resistance, and that's very important. We don't know what's the right balance. We don't know if we need more penetrative or more corrosive resistance at this point. The tools you have to use are the resistance special, reactive armor, or alloy armor COM. The Panthera's Scatterguns, they give you corrosive resistance 4% each. As a countermeasure, the Switchblade will give you 3% corrosive resistance. The good thing about the Switchblade and the Panthera's Scatterguns, they're both multi-shot weapons, so specials increasing multi-shot can also make the Switchblade more effective. So don't discount it it may be a very good option in the end. We'll see. The Phalanx 4 gives you 15% penetrative resistance, and then there's the combination of armors, either D5s or C1s. They all give 18% corrosive or penetrative each. So mix and match. The example on the left, if you don't have alloy armor COM, will give you 94% pen resistance, 92 corrosive. The example on the right will give you a balanced 92 on both. Entirely up to you. And finally, these are the things I'm considering. I'm going to share 3 options. All of them could be great, but until we actually try them against the target, we don't know. Right? So first option, uses Siege Battery 4, giving extra building damage if that's important. It uses Countermeasure Loader 4, which not only buffs the countermeasures, but also increases reload. And this Panthera Scattergun is really slow to reload, so that may be a good play. This build has a balanced 92% resistance for both corrosive and penetrative. Using the new special to get +3 multi-shot, which also benefits the one switchblade you see over there. 85% reload, 60% corrosive damage. So if we cannot kill targets in one shot, having the faster reload helps. Let's take a look at option 2. This one has slower reload. It does not have any extra building damage, but combines turret defense and the countermeasure bonuses on a single special frontline countermeasure system, freeing up a slot to use the 2 old Scattergun specials. Using the 2 of them is more powerful than using the new one. You lose 1 multi-shot, but you get 110% corrosive damage. So if it's possible to kill the enemy targets in one shot, having more corrosive damage up front is more important than having the reload. Again, we'll have to wait and see. The added benefit of using the 2 old specials is you also gain extra speed, 59 instead of 56 from option 1. And we concentrate the fire because narrow firing aperture, the special at the bottom, reduces the spread it should read over there, and increases splash. So minus 30% spread, pardon my typo there in the slides, plus 50% splash. So that's actually greater. This build would be greater, better, if we aim at killing stuff in the first shot. While the previous one is better if you need multiple shots, it reloads faster, gives you more multi-shot, but it doesn't give you any extra splash and it doesn't concentrate the fire. Option 3, it's kind of like leaving your options open here. Intermediate reload at 60%. You get the +3 multi-shot, you get the balanced resistance, no extra building damage. So if that's important, we'll have to go back to option 1 with Siege Battery. 56 combat speed, and this one leaves one special open because honestly there are so many good options, and I say potentially good options. It's impossible to choose right now. I list some of them at the bottom. So that empty slot could have Explosive System 4. So less spread, more splash. Tactical Insulator, if that's important. Extra evade and extra field resistance. The ship already has 70% tactical field resistance. So that may be useless, that may be great. We don't know. Carbon fiber casing, because the Scattergun has penetrative secondary damage, and carbon fiber casing increases that penetrative damage, which can be great. Siege Targeting 4, if we need building damage, it's a good option. Or High Velocity Rounds gives not as much building damage, but faster projectile speed. Interception System also increases penetrative damage, the secondary on the Scatterguns, and gives you more speed, so that can be interesting if we need faster ships. And finally, SH6, which increases your deflection against ships by 200. Can be a great option. I used that in my Fang Teeth fleet and it was great. Or maybe if there's a lot of buildings, that's TR6 plus 200 building deflection. So, you know, I'm not going to be building a full ship until I get to play with the targets a little bit. I'm gonna stick to the core, going back a few slides here, like this, for now. And maybe add one of each charged armor, one CO, one M, not even sure, but I'll certainly put COM and see what else comes out in FM. I mean, that's gonna keep me busy for some time, getting all 4 ships to that stage. So 3 options. You guys pause the video if you wanna take a look at what they have your own ideas. Everything right now is speculation. I mean, these are just some potentially good ideas. We don't know which one's going to break the bank and work really good for us, all right? But I hope that was helpful, gave you an overview and some ideas. Leave your comments. Once we see the targets, once we actually play with things, I'll be releasing a new video on how to build properly against the new target. In the meantime, enjoy the remaining of your raid and see you next time.